Hare Krishna.
Okay, Ishan Prabhu, we're live, so you can introduce the topic and chant, and we'll get going.
Oh, okay, I'll sing a few prayers, and then we'll go, and then I'll talk. Okay. Oh boy. Wires. Ah. Is that too loud?
This is perfect.
Vishnu Padaya Krishna Kristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Acharine Nirishesha Shunya Vade Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Oh, I'm all tied up with wires and straps. Okay. So, today is Srimati Radharani's appearance day. Srimati Radharani's appearance day. She's just a little bit younger than Krishna, so many days. I read that when she was born, she refused to open her eyes until Krishna was in front of her. What I wanted to talk to today my Krishna conscious diary. You know, when I get up in the morning to do my japa, I have a little notepad. And on that notepad, the things come to mind while I'm chanting. And then I jot them down. They're kind of like inspired thoughts for myself. So I thought I would share some of these thoughts. And the first thing, oh yes, you know, in our one book by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he used to get up every morning and write. He writes songs, poems, bhajans, he'd write articles, he'd write books. Some of the books he wrote, they were like dramatic novels, just to give certain teachings. Others were strictly Vaishnava philosophy. He wrote one book called Sri Harinam Chintamani. Harinam Chintamani. The spiritual world is made of spiritual gems. Everything is alive and conscious in the spiritual world. Very wonderful. Everything is conscious. And here things are made of dead matter. If there's a spirit soul in the matter, then it moves, but actually it's dead matter. But it looks like people are alive and all of that. But they're no real, it's a great science fiction, a theme. Someone should make a movie. That everyone on this planet is actually a machine walking around. Is in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains like that the living entity, the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart and directing the wanderings, the movements of all the living beings in the marketplace, on the street, driving the cars on the freeway, in their offices, wherever they are. The Supreme Lord is situated in the heart of every one of those bodies. And he's moving them, directing the wanderings of all the living entities, the spirit soul, who are seated on a machine made of the material energy. These bodies are machines. There are no people in this world. Of course, the spirit souls are here, but all the forms we see, the dogs, the cats, the horses, the animals, the cows, the people, none of them are real. They're all fabrications, and Krishna is moving every one of them. Is a great organizing all of it. Choreography, how when they make a musical production, we're on the stage and the dancers someone is the choreographer. He's integrating everyone's movements with each other. So Krishna is the supreme choreographer, and he's moving. Well, I think we have about 10 or 11 billion human beings on this planet, and they call them human beings. Srila Prabhupada, I heard a talk this morning. Srila Prabhupada said, unless they're practicing Krishna consciousness, they're actually animals, because they're no different. What is the animal doing? Eating, sleeping, defending or fearing, being anxious about something, and sex life, mating. So if a person is not engaged in Krishna consciousness, and he's in doing these things, he's no different from an animal, but he's a royal edition of the animal. He wears maybe pants and shirt, but he's animal, because a real thing. So in Sri Harinam Chintamani, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he writes that when we chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When we're chanting the holy name, when we're chanting, Krishna is right there in that sound vibration. Actually, Krishna, he is that sound vibration. We're going to realize that. So then we know we're always with Krishna when we're chanting the holy name. So Sri Harinam Chintamani Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he writes that when we chant Hare Krishna, we should be thinking of two things. One thing, we should be remembering, meditating on our spiritual master. And the other thing, we should be meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Both. Why? Actually, he lives forever by his divine instruction, and the follower lives with him. A very popular saying today amongst those who are worshiping the spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. So this instruction is there. So he gave the instruction, you chant 16 rounds. So we're following his instruction. Here's instruction that we should be meditating on Srila Prabhupada while we're chanting Hare Krishna. Why? Because he is teaching us how to chant the holy name. He's teaching us how to chant. And we want to revive our dormant love of Krishna. It's dormant in in the heart of, even in the dog and the cat, even in the bugs. There's so many bugs where I live, all kinds. And they come in the house. How they come in, I don't know. But we take them out one at a time. So, but they also, Krishna, love of Krishna is present in their hearts. They're spirit souls, like you and me, but the body is different. They have the body of a bug. There are crickets. They're a big bug that looks like a scorpion, but they're larger. They're about this long when they're grown up. And they're walking around very slowly in the kitchen. Not lots of them, just one or two at a time. And mice come in the house. But they all are not different from you and me. Just the body is different, that's all. And in their heart there's dormant love of Krishna. But in the human form of life, we have this opportunity, this good fortune, we have the opportunity to reawaken our dormant love of Krishna. So the spiritual master, he comes from Krishna Loka. Srila, the Nectar of Devotion, we read, Srila Prabhupada writes, quote, "A conditioned soul cannot liberate another conditioned soul." And why is that? Because only one who has this love of Krishna in his heart, he can share that. He can have an influence on another conditioned soul, on a conditioned soul. He's not a conditioned soul. But if a conditioned soul comes in contact with a pure devotee who has this love of Krishna in his heart, there's a strong influence. When I took physics in the university, before I entered the real university, the real university is Krishna consciousness. Everything else, maybe it's a trade school, what have you, but no real knowledge. Real knowledge, Raja Vidya Raja Ghayam Pavitram Midam Uttamam Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam Shushukam Kartama. This knowledge is the king of Raja means king. Knowledge of God, knowledge of Krishna. It's the king of knowledge. Raja Goyam, the most confidential knowledge. Pavitram, the purest knowledge. Uttamam, the greatest, the highest. Pratyaksha, this knowledge gives direct perception of the self, pratyaksha, by realization. Shushukam, kartamavyayam, kartam is the activity. It's a very happy activity, kartamavyayam. And it's the eternal activity. Avyayam means eternal. It's the activity of the soul. That's what Chaitanya Charitamrita means. Chaitanya means the living force. Charita means the character. What is the character? Now we see the character of the living force in this material world. But what is the character of the living force in the liberated condition? Amrita. Chaitanya, the living force. Charita, the character of the living force. Chaitanya Charita, Amrita, in what is his eternal nature. So the spiritual master, his eternal nature is that he loves Krishna. Nobody in the spiritual world think I should love Krishna, I should practice Krishna consciousness, I should do my rounds. It's spontaneous. It could not occur to them it would not occur to them to do anything other than be happy, taking pleasure in hearing about Krishna, and have a desire, how can what can I do in order to make Krishna happy? What can I do? I was reading in Nectar of Devotion that Krishna has friends. There are 3 categories of friends, different friends. Some of them, they have a certain amount of veneration. But the highest category, you know what they're doing? Krishna's having relationship adventures. They're taking messages from the gopis to Krishna and whispering in Krishna's ear. And they're taking messages from Krishna to the gopis. And they understand Krishna's mood, they understand Krishna's feeling, and they try to help make everyone in the spiritual world their only thought is how can we make some difference, whether it's parental affection, like Mother Jashoda, Nanda Maharaj, or friendship, or conjugal. The gopis, they don't want to be with Krishna. They just want to make nice arrangements for Radha and Krishna to be together. Very nice arrangements. They're doing artik ceremony to Radha and Krishna in the woods, in the forest of Vrindavan. So the pure devotee, he comes down to us. Every morning we sing Nakunchayuno Ratikeli Siddhai. That the spiritual master is very much, he's expert. He's expert in, he's very much expert in assisting who? The gopis are making nice arrangements for Radha and Krishna, and our spiritual master is very much expert in assisting the gopis who are making arrangements nice for Radha and Krishna, their conjugal love affairs, to meet together. They're bringing flowers, garlands, nice things to eat, sometimes intoxicating beverage. And they're playing, making bhajan and kirtan, so many things to make. Oh, and they're making beautiful arrangements in the forest for Radha and Krishna to come together. And it says, in the Kunji, it says our spiritual master, when the gopis are making he's there with them to assist in those arrangements, to assist in those affairs. So that kind of spiritual master we want, because that is the only kind of spiritual master there is. He can share with us love of Krishna because he has love of Krishna. And we sing every morning, Prema Bhakti Yahoite Avidya Vinashayat. From him, it's from him this love of Krishna emanates. Just like heat and light emanate from the sun, love of Krishna. So if we turn our back, then we don't receive. But similarly in Nectar of Devotion, chapter 12, that this association, it's like our heart is like a mirror. And if association is like a crystal stone, means like a mirror that will reflect whatever we're in contact with. So it says that when we come in touch with a real spiritual master, because from him this love of Krishna, it emanates. If our heart is like a mirror, it can reflect. It can receive that reflection. It can receive that emanation of love from Srila Prabhupada. and it reflect that love of Krishna to the spiritual world. That's such a nice concept. Therefore, when we're chanting Hare Krishna, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, actually Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's quoting Haridas Thakur. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Jai. He says, so he's Lord Chaitanya, he's asking Haridas Thakur for philosophical concepts. Please just tell me how this works. See, Lord Chaitanya is in the superior position, Haridas Thakur. He's in the servant position, the servant demeanor of the heart. The servant is helping the master to be Krishna conscious. What do you think of that? Ramananda Roy had long discussion with Lord Chaitanya when Lord Chaitanya went to South India. He was asking Ramananda Roy all kinds of questions. And when Ramananda would give it, he said, oh, keep going. Speak of something even higher. Speak of something more. And so Ramananda Roy, Swarup Damodar, and they would understand the different moods of Lord Chaitanya in his feeling of love for Krishna. In the mood, Lord Chaitanya is here, and he's in the material world, but he's in the mood of feeling the love that Srimati Radharani has for Krishna. So in this way, sometimes he's feeling separation from Krishna. Sometimes he's feeling that he's meeting Krishna. Sometimes this, sometimes that. So Ramananda Roy and Swarup Damodar, they're singing different songs, like the songs of Jayadev Goswami, to enhance the mood of Lord Chaitanya. In the same, when Ishwara Puri was the servant of Madhavendra Puri, before Madhavendra Puri was preparing for departure from this world, Ishwara Puri was reciting different shlokas, different verses from Bhagavatam, to help his spiritual master, to taste the nectar of devotion. So it's not uncommon, it's in our tradition, in our Vaishnava tradition, that the business of the disciple is to chant in such a way that the spiritual master will enjoy. That's what our chanting is. Now, but how can we chant in a way that our spiritual master will enjoy? So we have to learn how to chant with feelings of love of Krishna. Now, where will we get those feelings of love of Krishna? Therefore, when we chant Hare Krishna, we are being very submissive before our spiritual master. How submissive? Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains how submissive in his Kabe Habe Bolo, in that bhajan. He says, oh, you're praying to the spiritual master. You are always tasting this nectar of devotion. You're my spiritual master. You're always tasting this nectar of devotion. Therefore, I want to get close to you, but I know that I have to beg from you. What is this love of Krishna? So he says, when will I take hold of your lotus feet and hold them over my heart? Until how much? How much? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 16 rounds, 100 rounds? How much should we hold his lotus feet to our heart? He says, until the end of time. As long as this material universe exists, I want to hold your feet to my heart. Why? Because you're tasting this nectar of love of Krishna, and that's the only way I can get it. Prema Bhakti Yahahoite, we sing every day. From him, this feeling of love of Krishna emanates. And if we can catch it a little bit, avidya vinashayate, in that way, our desires for material things, it goes away. Why? Can desire go away from our hearts? No, it's not possible. We're not impersonal. The Mayavadi wants to stop all desire. No more self, no more individuality, no more identity, no more desire. He wants to become zero, nothing, because he's having so much trouble in this material world. He says the solution is that having an individuality is the problem. Having an ego, having a sense of self, it's a big problem. It's always filled with so many miseries, material miseries. So, I was going somewhere. So that to only from the spiritual, but when we, avidya vinashayate, but so if we can be nicely in touch with our spiritual master, fixed up, Srila Prabhupada used to say, I was working with some epoxy resin this morning. You glue one thing to another so tight, you can't break them apart. They're fixed up. Srila Prabhupada said we should be fixed up on the lotus feet of our spiritual master for imbibing this taste. Because when we can get the taste of Krishna consciousness in his association, our heart becomes satisfied. Our desire doesn't go away. It even gets greater. But instead of it being for material things which can never satisfy us, we become desirous for Krishna's service. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes that when Haridas Thakur is speaking, that when we're chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, we should be meditating on our spiritual master. So what he's doing, because he's sharing, if we're submissive enough, it's our heart is like a mirror, like a crystal stone that can reflect. It can receive that impression and it can reflect it towards Krishna. It can receive that love of Krishna like a mirror. But Srila Prabhupada says there's only one thing, a prerequisite. That mirror has to be clean. Therefore, we have regulative principle. unless the mirror of the heart is clean, we cannot have this sense of Srila Prabhupada's presence in our heart. We can't feel it. So, but if the mirror is clean, and if we're sufficiently submissive, submissive means that we can receive. Well, receive what? Prema Bhakti Yahahoy, they receive that emanation from him. Then we can also chant with the same feeling. And chanting with that same feeling, it's our offering to our spiritual master. He's teaching us how to do. Just like a bricklayer is saying, put the cement like this, put the brick like this, now you do. Then he puts it to try and do it in the way the teacher has showed him. And he's doing it to please his teacher. But he's giving his teacher what the teacher has given to him. That's an apprenticeship program. So Srila Prabhupada says that Krishna consciousness is an apprenticeship program. Srila Prabhupada is a journeyman in the trades, whether he's a bricklayer or a plumber or an electrician. We have in America, we say he's a journeyman. It means journeyman, he's made the whole journey. He's now a master of his trade. Srila Prabhupada is a journeyman devotee. He's made the entire journey. Actually, he didn't ever have to make the journey from the material world to the spiritual world. He was never a conditioned soul. No, he's Nitya Siddha. We're Nitya Bada. Eternally conditioned soul, and he's eternally liberated soul. So when we were meditating on him while chanting the holy name and feeling his presence and feeling his mood in our heart, then that becomes our offering to our spiritual master. It's a service. We're serving him. We're engaging in Krishna consciousness under the guidance of our spiritual master. That's what it means. We're engaging in Krishna consciousness under the direction of our spiritual master. That's what it means. They use the word anu. Anu means to follow. In the more advanced stages of Krishna consciousness, of course, we're all neophytes, but at least I'm neophyte. But in the more advanced stages, talks of raga nuga bhakti. Anuga means following, and raga means the taste, the flavor of Krishna consciousness. How do we get the flavor? Anuga. We're following the emotional demeanor of the heart. We're following more of the residents of Vrindavan, very advanced stage. Srila Prabhupada says it's not possible even to think of such things until we're completely liberated from material identification. But if we're talking about it because we like to have a sense of direction, how this process of Krishna consciousness develops. So at least, though, we can have some sense that Srila Prabhupada is blissful. In our Gayatri mantra, in the third mantra, Enguru Devaya Vidmahi Krishnandaya Dhimahi Dhimahi means meditate. That let us meditate on the enthusiasm of our spiritual master, his enthusiasm in Krishna consciousness, and so we can get that taste of his bliss. You look at a beautiful picture of Srila Prabhupada. He's in blissful Krishna consciousness. Here's one picture. See? Srila Prabhupada is in blissful Krishna blissful Krishna consciousness. Always so blissful. And we meditate on his bliss. Then we can imbibe the taste of his devotion. Srila Prabhupada refers to it as a kind of infection that you catch from someone who has it. So you catch it. That's the way you become a devotee, is that you catch it from someone who has it. This is the process of Krishna consciousness. So it's not that just simply doing. If the bricklayer is not if he does 1,000 bricks or 100,000 bricks, 10,000, 100,000, 1,000,000 bricks that one day. No, he works under the guidance of the journeyman bricklayer, is showing him and giving him the feeling, like you do it like this, you get the feeling. Then very quickly, he learns. That's apprenticeship program. So when we're chanting Hare Krishna, we're meditating. We're meditating on the pure devotee who's absorbed in blissful Krishna consciousness. Yeah, in blissful Krishna consciousness. And we're trying to be submissive enough to imbibe the flavor of his Krishna consciousness, and then we're giving it back. We're chanting with that feeling that he's sharing with us. That's our service. So, Bhakti, Bhagavad Gita 4:34, inquiry, submission, and then service. We're asking him to teach us how is this Krishna consciousness flavor, and we want to learn from him. He's a master. Doesn't mean master like someone who gives you orders. Of course he gives us, but he's a master of the process. He's the master of the process of Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So then we're inquiry, then we're asking, please, ha Prabhu Koradoya, Dehomore Padachoya, ha Prabhu Koradoya. O Master, be merciful unto me. Please share this with me. That's it. All the Vaishnava Acharyas are teaching by example. Krishna Das Kaviraj says, I'm praying at the lotus feet of Rupa and Raghunath, always desiring their mercy. Ha Prabhu Koradoya, Deho More Padachoya. In this way, I'm following in their footsteps in order to do my service. That means Anu, Raga, Nuga means Raga is the feeling of love, the feeling of Krishna consciousness, the feeling of enthusiasm in Krishna consciousness, the feeling of joyfulness in Krishna consciousness. We learn it, we imbibe it, we're following someone who has it. Anuga. That's what Prabhupada Anuga means, actually. That is the purport of Prabhupada Anuga. It means we're following in his footsteps, means that we're following the mood of Krishna consciousness that he's sharing with us. From him, this Krishna consciousness, this love of Krishna emanates. And if we can catch it, our ignorance is destroyed. So we're submissive in our relationship with him, but we're also serving him. How? We're giving back to him what he has given to us. When we're doing deity worship, Srila Prabhupada says, don't think that you're serving Krishna. Srila Prabhupada says, I'm serving Krishna and you're helping me, you're my assistant. So in other words, he's giving us the feeling, the mood with which we should be doing our deity worship. In this way, we are serving Krishna under his direction. Apprenticeship program. Chanting Hare Krishna under his direction. So, but if we do it in a way that pleases him, we're simultaneously learning from him by being submissive and serving him by working under his direction. You cannot serve him unless we're under his direction, following in his footsteps. It's an apprenticeship program. We're simultaneously learning and serving. Our service is composed of what we're learning. And when we do it, and he's pleased, when we do this kind of relationship, intimate relationship, chapter, canto, 10th canto, purport. Initiation is the cultivation of a heart-to-heart relationship if we open our heart to him. The more we open our heart to Srila Prabhupada, the more he opens his heart to us. He shares his feeling. The more we open our heart to Srila Prabhupada, the more we're capable of understanding that prema bhakti ahoite, that from him this love of Krishna is emanating. And we become capable to imbibe the taste. So this grows. He gives to us when we take him that to our heart and try to cultivate our Krishna consciousness with that feeling as a service to our spiritual master. What is the result? It makes him want to share more with us. It makes him want to share more with us. From one platform to the next. You look at Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 5th chapter. Text 25 purport, the last paragraph says, first really he says, the neophyte imbibes the taste from the pure devotee. Okay? This is the science of Krishna consciousness. he says, what happens is the first thing is when you get the taste, anartha nivritti, the material tastes go away. Avidya vinashayate, our ignorance is destroyed. Same message, different words. He says that's the first stage of getting that taste. The first stage of actually being a Prabhupada Nuga. The first stage of following what he's sharing with us. Prema Bhakti. From him the love of Krishna emanates. We're following him to get a little piece of the action. Srila Prabhupada sometimes makes jokes. He says, hold on to my dhoti when you're following me. So the first stage of doing this process is that our material desires go away because our heart becomes satisfied in Krishna consciousness. He says, then one develops perfect taste. Yes, it's very nice. I want more. Then he says, then slowly one develops and starts to feel transcendental emotions. Then one will eventually realize completely I'm not this body. And then he will come to understand what his spiritual identity is. And Srila Prabhupada says, all of these stages, on the last stage, pure love of Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada's last sentence in the purport is that all of these stages go forward. How? In the association of the pure devotee. So from the very beginning, from the neophyte stage to the topmost stage, this process of subjective instruction, this is the science of Krishna consciousness. This is why the spiritual master has to be a pure devotee. Someone else, he may be voted by a council of people that we're going to elect you to that post. You can get 1 million votes. You don't have love of Krishna by receiving votes. Therefore, it's a fraud. They can't give something that they don't have. But because the follower is not conversant with the science of how we receive and how we cultivate Krishna consciousness or love of Krishna. Krishna consciousness is love of Krishna. Kamsa was also Krishna conscious, but we're not practicing that kind of Krishna consciousness, how to kill Krishna. The Mayavadis want to eliminate Krishna. We're practicing, and they're making commentary on Bhagavad Gita. They're saying they're trying to take Krishna out of the Bhagavad Gita. So this is the process by which we cultivate Krishna consciousness. All the forms of devotional service, hearing, we're hearing in his association. We read Krishna book. Oh, how would Srila Prabhupada read? How would he feel when he's reading these descriptions, Krishna pastime? Chanting, how does Srila Prabhupada feel when he's chanting, when he's reciting, when he's reading out loud about Krishna or talking about Krishna's pastimes. Remembering, how does Srila Prabhupada feel when he's remembering the Krishna's pastimes? So he's sharing with us. But in order for us to receive that sharing, we have to have a living relationship with him. The ISKCON rascals, they're saying you have to have a living guru. But Srila Prabhupada is living. He's the external manifestation. He's empowered by Krishna to assume the role of the external manifestation of Krishna in the heart, the all-pervasive supersoul. The supersoul is there. You can't see him. Does it mean he's not there? He's directing all of the wanderings of the living entities. He's in everyone's heart. Srila Prabhupada is eternally available to the whole universe, of Jagat Guru. Jagat means the universe. He's the guru of the universe because he's assuming the role of the all-pervasive supersoul. He can have an individual relationship with all of us simultaneously. Like Srila Prabhupada explained, in Krishna, he had 16,000 queens in Dwarka. 16,000. And for each queen, he had made one palace, beautiful palace. Queen lives in the palace. So he said, but Srila Prabhupada says, see, Narada Muni went to visit to see how Krishna is living with the queens. So Srila Prabhupada says, it's not that when Krishna was in the palace with one queen, he wasn't with the other queen. That Krishna expanded himself into 16,000 different Krishnas. They're all the same, but in 16,000 different forms. And in each form, he's in each palace with different queens, all doing different things. Making jokes, maybe swimming, maybe so many things. So having conversations. So in the same way, Srila Prabhupada, he can be present in all of our hearts simultaneously, just like Krishna can be present simultaneously in 16,000. Srila Prabhupada, Krishna can be present simultaneously in 16 million palaces. He can expand himself. There's unlimited Vishnu forms. Unlimited Vishnu forms. In every Vaikuntha planet, there's one form of Vishnu. 4 arms. So when we're chanting Hare Krishna, as we Sri Harinam Chinta, we should be meditating on our spiritual master. And we should be meditating on Krishna. So when I'm chanting Hare Krishna in the morning, Srila Prabhupada says we should chant in front of our deities. He didn't want people to leave the temple when we used to live in the temples. He wanted us to chant in front of the deities. So I'm looking at Radha and Krishna. You may have picture, or you may have murti. It's the same. Krishna is present in this picture, Srimati Radharani is present in her picture. So when you say Srimati Radharani, that Hara means Srimati Radharani. Mother Hara, Srila Prabhupada says, Mother Hara, that Srimati Radharani, she's Krishna's pleasure, potency. Potency means energy. She's the energy of Krishna. That Krishna has desire for pleasure. Imagine. Krishna, God has the desire to enjoy pleasure. And that desire to enjoy pleasure is manifest in the form of Srimati Radharani. His desire and the object of his desire in the material world, our desire and the object of desire, two different things. If I want water, I might have desire for water, but the water is a different thing. In the spiritual world, the desire for something and the object of our desire are the same. They're immediately manifest, transcendental. Transcendental means not under the jurisdiction of the laws of the material world. The spiritual world is so nice that everyone has a desire to serve Krishna, that desire immediately becomes manifest. One has a desire to have a relationship with Krishna, that desire becomes manifest. So Krishna's desire for enjoyment, for pleasure, spiritual pleasure, ananda. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Krishna is the cause of all causes. Therefore, Srimati Radharani exists because Sri Krishna desires. But the thing is that he is so captivated by Srimati Radharani that he's under her control. So, when we're chanting Hare Krishna, we're chanting Hare, which is Mother Hara, that's Radharani, Hare and Krishna. So when we're chanting Hare Krishna, like that, we're thinking,
What did you say?
is that Keshava talking there? So he says, Keshava, you listen to this class. So when we're chanting Hare Krishna, we're thinking Radha Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Radha Radha, Hare Rama, Rama is Krishna also, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare. So we're actually thinking Radha Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radha Radha, Radha Krishna, Krishna. So we look at them, we behold their beautiful forms while we're saying the words Hare Krishna. That's why Srila Prabhupada wants us to chant in front of the deities. If you do like that every day, if you do that, then when you're walking on the street or in the field and you say Hare Krishna, immediately their forms will appear in your mind. Immediately your forms will appear in your their forms will appear in your mind. If you chant Hare Krishna, looking at Radha and Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Like that. And the more you do, the more there will be revealed to you that they're alive in that picture. They're alive in that. If we do it simply mechanically, Krishna, if we think that Krishna is stone, Srila Prabhupada says Krishna will remain stone forever. If we say, chant that Krishna is really there, appreciating. So Srila Prabhupada says that Srimati Radharani is more merciful, more kind. She is Krishna's expression of compassion. She's Krishna's compassionate nature. That Srimati Radharani is more merciful than Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada says when we're chanting the Hare Krishna, Mother Hara will give us the grace of the Supreme Father Hari or Krishna, and he will reveal himself. So we have to, so it says that the spiritual master, the bona fide spiritual master, he's a representative of Srimati Radharani. He's very merciful. He's sharing this love of Krishna with us. So I have here yeah, I have here so many pages of notes, but I only came to the first line. Sri Harinam Chintamani. That when we chant Hare Krishna, we should be meditating on the Krishna consciousness of our spiritual master, how he would be chanting, and try to chant with the same feeling, Anu, to follow in his footsteps, Prabhupada Nuga, the chanting, following in the mood of Srila Prabhupada. That is how we cultivate our Krishna consciousness. Thank you for letting me talk to you in this way. Hare Krishna. Ram.
Jai, rather. All right, so we have Janice Priya from Hawaii joining us. He joined. So it's Radharani's appearance day, like you said. And it's a very special day, and Prabhupada sings this wonderful song, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Okay.
And how can we say that, this is in every class of Srila Prabhupada that we hear.
Yeah.
So that's the very beautiful videos of Srila Prabhupada chanting as well. This Jai Radha Madhava.
You want
different
to chant
places.
with me?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, I'll get the drum. And we'll do back and forth like question and answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Ramadava Kunja Bihari
Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari
Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari
Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Jayaramadava Kanjabe Hari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jayarata Madhava Kanjabe Hari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari
Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari
Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana
Sodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana
Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Last time, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
We say, Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Parabrah Jakacharya Astatara Sattashri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai, Jai, Jai,
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai,
Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai.
Jai.
Prem Si Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai,
Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai.
Jai,
Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai.
Jai,
Navadvip Dham Ki Jai.
Jai,
Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai.
Jai,
Bhakti Devi Ki Jai.
Jai,
Tulasi Devi Ki Jai.
Jai,
Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Shama Veda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled
Hare
devotees.
Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Jai.
All
Hare
glories
Krishna.
to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Nama
Jai.
Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna
Jai.
Prastaya
Jai.
Bhutale
Bhutale.
Srimate
Srimate Bhakti
Bhakti
Vedanta
Niti
Namine.
Namaste
Namaste
Saraswati
Saraswati
Devi
Devi.
Gauravani
Gauravani
Prachani
Pracharine.
Nirvishesha
Nirvishesha
Shanyavadi
Shanyavadi.
Paschatya Deshita.
Pastatarine.
Hare
Jai.
Krishna.
Jai. Jai. Okay, Prabhu.
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for the wonderful discussion, for the class. We'll continue this next week.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.